I wrote a decently large post like a year ago on how I rated every character in every Ubisoft game that was localized. I never published it because I heard Cafe Stella was in the works and I was like, oh, that's probably gonna come out before this thing comes out, so I'll just wait for it. But then it took like an extra year. But that's not what this post is about. It's because I actually kind of like Cafe Stella in a weird way. So I was like, maybe I'll make a video of it, maybe I'll make a post of it, who knows. And I did. I see it as a bizarro Center Banca where Cafe Stella's common route is just really boring outside of maybe a part or two with 2 chapters and like chapter 3. But the routes themselves are pretty good. Not to say that Center Banca didn't have any bangers at all, but overall it was pretty boring in their end, especially Mako, who ended up being the worst even though I liked their design the most. So like I said, the common route is boring as hell. Honestly, I think it's the worst common route out of the bunch, but I might have just forgotten all the bad parts from like the common route of like Noble Works, because that's been like 8 years ago, or has it been 6? Something around that, right? It has the least amount of humor out of the bunch, and it's overall not memorable. The prologue is pretty good. There's like a scene or two in the first chapters that coincide with Susune, it's like, alright, that's fine. And then the child and their parents come in chapter 3, it's like, hey, this is really good, but I'm also just a sucker for that kind of theme, right? I don't remember anything from chapter 4 or 5. I assume it's just, oh, more cafe stuff. It's like, oh, it's Christmas sales. They just run in the fucking cafe. It's like, I don't care. And at this point, I was like, oh, fuck, I just wasted $32, right? I think it's like 35 in Steam or something, but Manga Gamer, as long as you just keep on buying shit, you keep on getting like discounts from all the points you have. And it's like, oh yeah, chapter 3 was okay, but you know, that's 1 out of 5. That's gonna fucking suck. The route's gonna suck. And it's like, hey, it didn't. These routes are pretty good. And yeah, it just didn't start out great. It's like, it's the largest fall it has. You just have a cafe compared to like a prosperous city that's meant as a vampire stockpile while also being part of the force. Or being a body double. Or some dude that happened to pick up a mythical blade. It's like, alright, cool, I guess, and you're clearing up this corruption shit. Fine. Or you're a secret agent. And you go to the school and then it gets boring, but the secret agent part was pretty good. Or like, oh, I'm just the guy that's helping out witches. Like, alright, fine. This one's like, oh, I'm running a fucking cafe. It's like, really? That's all you're gonna do? Sure, there's like the whole cat set thing, and there's a Grim Reaper, but there's not much attention put to them. They only cover maybe 5% of the whole VN, that's fucking nothing. And I had this complaint with Riddle Jokers as well, where, dude, you did this whole secret agent shit, and it's like maybe 10 to 20%, but at least there's a lot more in this one. The main issue on that was like, oh, it's mainly focused on 2 routes. If you have a premise, just use the premise, it's free, it's there. Anyways, this might have the best art around. Maybe Riddle Joker's better in some degree. I actually like some art better than this one, the other one. The music is subjective. I find it okay, but there's nothing there that's as catchy as Center Banca's OP. But I do like they never tried to be samey in their songs. Like each one has something else. So, like this one's the jazzy one. There was a ska one. Center Banca was the weird Japanese one. It's like, alright, it's fine. This is fun. So at that point, I can't really complain about the music. I just think I'm not going to remember any of it except for maybe like 2 songs and one of them's an ending. I didn't really have a favorite character this time around. I thought it'd be Mei, but that's not what happened. If you're excluding Mikado, then I guess it might have been Natsume. I feel like they tried to add some more humor when she's around, but really it's more like a rehash of the subdued Ayasa type thing from Brutal Jokers, which is still kind of fine since it's not overly generic and the humor still works if you liked it before. It's not like, oh, it worked there, now it's not going to work here. It still works the same. Mei's route is just average. It has a good scene or 2 near the end, but overall it's pretty much just run-of-the-mill moe. And that's still fine. It's what I expect from Ubisoft. It's fine. I still enjoyed my time for the most part. Nozomi was the surprising one since I didn't really care for her, but her route was pretty fucking good. The plot was decent enough, nothing original, but it was paced really well and didn't feel like it was loaded unevenly. And it would have been the highlight of the VN if it was for Kana, though Kana is completely front-loaded in her plot, and then you just meander along for the age scene parade, right? And I finished them a lot faster because of it. I'm actually wondering if they just ended early in Kana's route in the all ages version because like, well, the plot's done. Maybe it's like 3 scenes, it's like, hey, the dad's here, okay, you explain what the dad happened, now you come for the job fair, and then it's done. I don't know. Kana probably had the best epilogue of the bunch as well. The thing I liked about Kana is that her story beats actually respected your time. You know where the plot is going, you know the story beats, so they just make a good experience and end it. And I'm only bringing that up because that was my largest complaint in a route in Tsunobu Witch or whatever, but I can't even say that word, it just seems like son of a bitch the whole time. And I think that's what they're going for. That route just didn't fucking end. It lasted like 3 hours longer than needed. And especially there was another route in there where it ended too early, so if they just spaced it out better, it would have worked fine. But whatever, right? Natsume's was also fine. It has like the savior issue that happens a lot in a lot of other VNs, and it's like just a personal issue. If you don't care about that or you're fine, then you would actually like Natsume's route maybe a little bit more. So while Khan had the best plot, Natsume and Nozomi's routes are just better paced, and because of that I finished them a lot faster. Suzune's route was also fine, but it felt like they just ran out of time near the end. It's like the same issue with Tsumugi from Sonova Witch, where it just needs like an hour or two. Especially for the epilogue sections, like, wait, did it just end? It's like, okay. All in all, this is one of those that will probably be praised higher later on than it should be, just because it ends on a better note than the uneventful common route. I'm giving it a 7, but that's probably just kind of generous still, but I'm giving the common route like a 3, outside of chapter 3, which has actually done really well for me. But again, I'm just a sucker on family-oriented themes. Kinda until the plot ends is like an 8, but then it becomes like a 7 to a 6 once you add everything else together, and it can like stop meandering around. It still respects your time. It only lasts like an extra 2 hours or something, but I'm assuming the all ages version is a lot better. May was very generic again. The ending, or at least the last third of it, was pretty cool, and I like that part, but the everything else is like, oh, May's a happy person, it's fine. It's something that is like, hey, you just want to have a good time, May's great. May is more perfect for a MOA game than the other ones where, hey, there's actually plot going on.